Welcome to the Darkstream, Voxday, voxday.blogspot.com, and of course, Unauthorized TV. Been a long time. Hope this is working. Let me know if the sound is working. Know if audio works. So I'm coming to you live from Barcelona, where we have been engaged in some very important and very productive meetings. Now my apologies. Some of you, we got some reverb going, yeah. Big Bear is not here. That title was actually from 3 days ago when we tried to do a stream together and it didn't work at all. So, sorry about that. Sorry to disappoint some of you. But I can assure you that the Big Bear is doing great. We had a lot of opportunity to talk and make some plans, and yeah, that's the Big Bull's wine glass. So I love how I just tell you the truth. And people are like, "You're lying, you're hiding them." So anyhow, it's been crazy here. You know, we were looking at the yeah, you're banned. Wendigo, you're banned for life. Pity. The you know, it's kind of amusing that people are like, you're doing all this stuff, but you can't even get a live stream to work. Well, you know what? Has it ever occurred to you that, you know, we don't really control things like, I don't know, the Wi-Fi connections in Spain? Do you have any idea what is going on in Spain? You know, I was looking at the paper, and I was talking to a friend saying, wow, it's getting really bad in Hong Kong. And the Big Bull says, dude, that's not Hong Kong. That's right here. So, no ibuprofen vendors. But yeah, the Catalonians are rioting. The Hong Kongese are rioting. You know, it's just been crazy, and but you know, it's interesting. So anyhow, we had an extremely productive meeting of the film production company, and we've got a lot of things that are in progress, and some really, really big things that are, you know, that we're just like a tiny little part of, and there's some new studios that are being created, and so what you're seeing with Rebels Run and what you're seeing with Unauthorized is just scratching the surface. You know, what you're seeing is just the tip of the iceberg. And so what I'm imbibing now actually is, I can't really see it, can you? Let's see, Ramon Roqueta. And you can't really see it. It's the Garnache, and it is not, it's not too far from here. But This is one of the Big Bull's favorites. Lance says, Vox, you sound a little happy. How many glasses? No, this is my first glass since dinner time. Why am I happy? Well, first of all, we've been having a wonderful time together. And, spending time with friends and colleagues and just really celebrating what we were doing last year. And this is not old at all. This is a 2018, but it's really good stuff. And so, here we had the chance to talk about what you may not realize is that it was almost exactly a year ago that Archaven was deplatformed by Indiegogo. And so when we've to have that all successfully resolved, and a lot of you may not even be aware yet, but just yesterday we launched the Junior Classics campaign, and that's going exceptionally well. We set a goal of 25,000, and without me doing any streams talking about it, without the Big Bear doing any streams talking about it, it's already over 100,000. The campaign is already at 400% of goal with in 36 hours. In the first in the first 24 hours, it hit 75,000, and so this is massive. I don't know when we're going to do streaming directly on unauthorized TV. There are reasons not to do so related to bandwidth. So, we're studying that right now. So it's we originally planned to do it, and then it turned out to be more difficult than we thought. And then it turned out to be possibly ruinously expensive. So, we need to be wise stewards of the subscriptions. Will the logo on the tea also be available on wine glasses? That's funny. Yeah, all this is this is just the mask, just the usual logo. So, but yeah, so if the Castelia Classics, if the Junior Classics are of any interest to you, I would very highly recommend, at the very least, backing the campaign for a digital edition. And we've got everything. We've got the digital editions. We've got the hardcover editions. You can choose if you want demi-octavo or royal octavo. And then we've also got the deluxe leather-bound editions. Let me put the link here for you in case anybody's interested. Let me see here. All right. I had to unplug my mouse, and this touchpad is weirdly and wrongly responsive. Okay, there we go. And there we go. So if you're interested in checking out the campaign, I highly recommend you do so, because it's becoming more and more apparent that we desperately need to preserve knowledge. We can't count on Project Gutenberg. We can't even count on children's books being allowed to survive. Remember, a whole bunch of them were destroyed during the Clinton administration when they passed some laws to that effect. Now Project Gutenberg is talking about banning content for hate speech and also for precursors to hate speech. So it's just totally insane. All right, you're banned. It's really bizarre to me, the fixation that some of these gammas have on the fact that we are providing people with what people literally ask for. No, it's not more economical to buy now versus later. We're just making it, creating them, and then we'll be selling all of these things when they're available. So. Anyhow, it's kind of a meta message here. Why did I get banned? Obviously you didn't. It's funny. But yeah, it was really an incredible time. It was really good to get to meet the Big Bear in person. For us to have the chance to talk in detail about these things. If you had to get one of the 10 volumes, well, what I would recommend is if it costs less to just get the digital editions. I would recommend that. If you're just going to get one edition, then I would probably get Heroes and Heroines, which I think is volume 3. Was anyone at Archaven at the New York Comic Con? No, we don't support the Comic Cons. We don't have any intention of going to the Comic Cons. I'm not saying that we never would. I'm just saying that that's not really an important part of our plan. The Comic Cons are pretty heavily converged. So why would we want to expose ourselves to that? It's not necessary for us. What's the difference in hardcover options? Yeah, the size. Demi-Octavo, which is 5.5 by 8.5 inches. That's the traditional junior classic size. Royal Octavo is 6.14 by 9.21 inches. It's the size of like the bigger books we do, Throne of Bones and Helvetica. And so you can get the regular hardcovers in that, or the deluxe leather-bound are the big ones too. So, how much can you shoulder press? I top out with 4 reps at 28 kilos, dumbbells. So, 2 28-kilo dumbbells. I don't do the military shoulder press anymore. I used to do it, but it started to bother my shoulders, so I stopped. Yeah, it's funny. Somebody said based on the pictures that I'm a bit taller than they think. I keep reminding people when the Dread Ilk are giving me a tough time about not being very many Rogans high. I keep reminding you. That's by Minnesota Scandinavian standards. They're not all like Big Bear size, but they're all like 6'3". So when they're calling you short, it means that you're only like 5'8", 5'9", 5'10". So Laurel says, "This is the first time catching you live, Vox. Is it magic?" We're over here in Europe. C'est magique. No, Owen hasn't posted a special yet because it hasn't been. I mean, they're editing it now. These things take time. You can't just... Okay, you're banned too. You clearly didn't understand a word that I said. Crazy. Anyhow, I don't know how many times we have to explain this, but no one is supporting, no one that we know of is supporting unauthorized for the features. And the whole point is to support the creators. That's always been the point. And we are going to provide the best features that we can. But certain things are possible today. Other things are going to be possible tomorrow. But you have no idea the curveballs, not just technologically. Remember, Owen just got banned by Patreon, 4 days ago? And we've been dealing with this. We're dealing with this kind of stuff all the time. Yeah, that's a big bear wine glass. I don't have any thoughts on the Joker movie because I haven't seen it, other than I'm sure that, however you pronounce his first name, I'm sure that River Phoenix's brother did a good job. There were steps in the background. So, yeah, it's okay to be White Bear says, I'm subscribed to Unauthorized to support you and the bear. That's all. Yeah, we're going to do whatever we can. Obviously, we would like to do a lot more than just live streaming directly from the site. But things are improving. Check this out. How many times has the stream frozen tonight? It's an improvement. And yet, when you improve it, nobody even comments. When you improve things correctly, nobody even notices. That's ideal. Right? So, it's just the way that it works. Animatronic wants to know why Indiegogo was used after all that happened. Think about it. Just think about it. If you want email me voxday@gmail.com. Do you think Crowder will debate Sidar? I don't know who Sidar was, and I don't care about Steven Crowder. So, Dennis Rice doesn't understand the point. Dennis Rice, thought it was supposed to be a place to live stream that only paid members could join. No, absolutely not. Charging people to be a member, then streaming on YouTube defeats the purpose of membership. But that's not the purpose of membership. You're banned. I mean, that's just retarded. I mean, absolutely retarded. Red wine or white wine? Well, this should answer the question. Definitely red. So, let's see here. Got an in-depth discussion with conservatives today. You're 100% about them, 100% right about them. Their arguments boil down to, we have to get punched in the face before we block. Yeah, that's exactly right. Just crazy. How did military presses bother your shoulders? I mean, they just started to hurt. So, if possible, please explain why using Indiegogo post lawsuit. I haven't said anything about, I mean, I will say what I am permitted to say. Indiegogo and Archaven have resolved their differences to their mutual satisfaction, and that's all we're going to say about it. Thanks, Dirk, very kind. He says, drink a fabulous glass of wine with this, enjoy. I promise you, I will go out and buy either a bottle of Torres Celeste or Freshnet Cordon Negro Brut with that. Absolutely. That's one of the things I love about being in Spain, is that all the wines are there, and they're all like excellent and on sale. Yeah, I mean, one of the things that was great, and one of the things that was awesome, was watching the raw footage of one of the shows. I believe it was the one in Ohio, because it had all the planes, and it was really good. I mean, it was a lot of fun to see. It was a lot of fun to listen to. So, are you going to start selling the shirt you're wearing? We will sell what you're seeing of the shirt. This is a special shirt, but it will be. We will have a one very similar to this on sale at Crypto Fashion too. The Big Bear had a funny idea. He wants us to start selling Duterte shirts that look like Che. So I think that'll be pretty funny too. So the Collier Classics on Indiegogo is through Redacted Press, as you can see on the site. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how I can make it any more clear. I'm not going to provide any details about any of this. No, I would not ever YouTube debate someone on theology. I'm not even interested in talking about theology for the most part, especially not with people who consider themselves to be theologians. Is it uncultured to drink wine from a cup or a mug? Well, it's not uncultured so much as it's ignorant of the way that it affects the taste. The reason that wine is served in glasses normally, rather than, something more civilized like a silvered skull, is because it doesn't affect the taste at all. Dennis sounds like the kind of gamma who wants to show that he's a smart boy under the pretense of helping. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Not everyone who claims to be helping is actually intending to do so. Quite often, they're just wanting to posture about how clever they are. So, where's the skull of your enemy's chalice? It's not like I carry it with me everywhere. I don't bring it on vacation. Cured meat from Spain is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. In fact, some of you may remember the Barcelona Life episode called Jamón Jamón. We were actually there the other day, and it was just absolutely fantastic. Do you ever drink honey mead? Not if I can help it. I've had it, certainly, but not terribly interested in it. I don't really like it. A wind stream. Yeah, it would be kind of funny to do a stream with that picture like close up behind me. The stream is more up to speed today. I don't quite know what that means. Oh, it might be I reduced the delay to 1 second. You know, sometimes the questions and stuff we're getting, you know, we had it set to 1 second, to 2 seconds when we were trying to reduce the problems of the dropping frames, but that problem seems to be solved. How's Barcelona doing after the court decision against the separatist politicians? Oh, it's insane. I mean, for 2 days you literally couldn't even drive to the airport or get near the airport unless you happen to come from the right direction. Hundreds of flights canceled. You know, fortunately, we were not planning to leave for a while, so you know, no worries. Is African bushmeat monkey or human flesh? It's jungle animals. You said before that there's delta fiction and gamma fiction. Is there also such a thing as delta rock? I've definitely heard alpha rock and gamma rock. Well, yeah, I think so. Would you do a stream together with the Big Bear in person? We actually tried to do that. That's why this stream is called Barcelona with the Big Bear. It was already set up that way 3 nights ago or something. We just couldn't get it working because of the problems with the Wi-Fi. Where is Spain on the list for European travel destinations? Well, I would say Italy has to be number 1. I would probably put Spain number 2. So, the Big Bear is not here. What does horse meat taste like? It tastes very much like beef, but it's a little bit blander, but a little bit richer. Are there any Taco Bells in Spain? Oh yes. Yes, there are. If American blacks had accepted segregation and made a nationalist-esque movement, what would the likely result have been? Nothing. They would not have been permitted to leave. Do you like Paris? Not anymore. Switzerland is exceedingly boring. Unless you're planning to buy chocolate, deposit money, or really, really like to look at cows, I wouldn't put that at the top of the list. Or actually even in the middle of the list. Minnesotans in the Civil War and Indian War. Do you have any historic connections there? No, my connections on both sides were not in Minnesota. We moved to Minnesota when I was like 4. I've heard a lot of good things about Portugal, but I've never actually been there. So, anyhow, so things are looking pretty good for the God Emperor. I don't know if you saw, but there was just a massive arrest of hundreds of pedos. A lot of the arrests in the United States. Apparently the whole thing was centered in South Korea. And so that's a big win. You know, the swamp is still gradually being drained. When you look at Pelosi had to back off the impeachment, That's also huge and is going to be massively, massively demoralizing. Okay, you're banned. That's like the 27th time you've asked about, have you looked into Christian identity? Do you think that I can't remember this stuff? Just because I ignored a few times doesn't mean that I've forgotten that you're trying to drive the conversation. Not happening. Yeah, and also the polls are now showing that Trump is going to win by a wider and possibly a much wider margin than he did in 2016, which you will recall we predicted. We had Trump Slide 2020 shirts on sale the day of the election. Why? Because we knew he was going to win. I told people he was going to win, and he did. It wasn't there wasn't any reason to doubt it. Was communism just a front for the hats that got out of control in places like China and became something unto itself? No, it wasn't just a front. But the Communist Party, if you look at communism in China today, it has literally nothing in common with the principles of communism as laid out by Marx. The Chinese Communist Party very clearly lays out what the principles of Chinese communism are. There literally is not a single point in common with the 10 pillars of communism as laid out in the Communist Manifesto. Yes, Alt Hero number 7 is being worked on, colored right now. Alt Hero Q number 2 is being lettered right now, and they are Avalon is, I think 5 and 6 are coming out very soon. Who do you think the Dems will run? Pocahontas? Yes, I think that she's probably the candidate. Welcome, Grapevine Library. Always nice to see literate reprehensibles. Well, but China is showing all of us how to do it. China is showing everybody, just don't stand for it. Is there hope for the USA? Well, there's hope for Americans. Prosciutto versus jamon serrano every time. Every time. Although I'm a bit more of a Salamanca fan myself. What was your favorite arcade growing up? You mean arcade game? Probably Joust. Although Ms. Pac-Man was up there. Turbo was my game to get the high score on. It's all good. There never was much hope, only a fool's hope. There's few occasions these days where quoting Tolkien is not appropriate. I was not a cruising guy. Galago's okay. Galago's okay. Let's do some super chats then. Let's see where we are here. Okay. Drew Royster says, love it when these legends get together. It was great. We had a great time together. Unfortunately, we're not together here, but I promise you that we will get together on a stream soon. Stillwater says, thanks for the book recommendation. I thoroughly enjoyed Watership Down. Keep crushing, and thanks for all you and BB do. Logos is indeed rising. God bless. Well, thank you, Stillwater. That's very kind. M. Bolster, finally gets the chance to do his thing after a few days off. Legionnaire Bear asks, can we buy the shirt you're wearing? I want. Yeah, we'll talk to Crypto Fashion and we'll get something out. We just need to figure out like what else to put on it, if anything. Karen Took the Kid says, congrats on the 400% for the Junior Classics. Looking forward to reading them to my son. Onwards and upwards. Yeah, let me talk for a second about the Junior Classics and the campaign. These are the books that I grew up on. I grew up on the 1958 edition. What we're doing, and these are also the books that I raised my kids on. They give a really good basic introduction to the classics, the Greek legends, Roman history, medieval history, English history, literature, American literature, American settlement, etc. But we went back to the 1918 edition, which provides about 85% of it, because there's one volume that was basically just half Alice in Wonderland. That seemed ridiculous. And then there was a whole volume called Stories of Today that were just mediocre and outdated. So the 1958 version was actually full of great stories by like Jack London, Robert Louis Stevenson and stuff. So we swapped out Stories of Today for Sport and Adventure, Tales of Sport and Adventure, and then we replaced most, not all, of the Alice in Wonderland with other classics more or less from that era. So this 2020 edition of the Junior Classics will be the best one yet. Out of all the editions dating back 102 years, this will be, I believe, the definitive edition. And so that's, if you've got kids, if you're going to have kids, if you're not all that well versed on the classics yourself, these are great books to get. And the reason that we decided to bring them back is because they've been so dumbed down and they're not even being produced anymore. And so this was definitely a popular demand thing. It wasn't like, oh hey, what can we do that will interest people? People were telling us, please do this. So we did, and people have responded very, very strongly. It's been great. Kevin Crater, is it immoral or unchristian to use psilocybin? I think it is foolish, because I think that you're opening your mind to evil influences. 1.6180339 sends over 10. Thanks very much. DR does the same, says thanks for all the hard work and keep fighting the good fight. I really enjoy what I do. I mean, Big Bear likes to say, no one's having more fun than us. And, I think he's got a point. I'm a little less enthusiastic and extroverted. So that's not how I would put it, but I understand what he's saying, and I don't think he's wrong. Kevin Crater says, I'm currently reading the Bible. Any other books you'd recommend that a young man read? I would start with the classics. Read the Greek myths, read the Roman history, read the simplified philosophy. It's good stuff. It will give you core base that will make your intellectual development stronger. When you ban someone, do you say a cryptic Latin phrase in your head? Me and Redware Bear theorize that you do. Well, can't reveal all the secrets, can we? Thank you, Dirk. Let's see here. Disciple Bear says thanks, thank you. Autarky Bear says, Vox, I've missed you and BB, but you have both deserved a good break. In the meantime, I've satisfied my logos fix with Bible readings and some books you suggested reading. Thanks for what you do. You're very welcome. Bathroom Bear says, please put these shillings into your treasuries. Very well, thank you. And as Bill sees it, Bear, what is your opinion on Antarctica and Admiral Byrd? Non-existent, I'm afraid. I simply don't know enough about it. I know Big Bear is convinced something funky is going on there. I'm just hoping it's not Cthulhu sleeping under the ice. Why is Madrid so aggro about keeping Catalonia? Because Catalonia is the wealthiest province in Spain. And so, and it's a major port. So I don't think that they would be any keener on letting Catalonia secede successfully than the United States would be keen about New York seceding. Christopher McCullough says, do your dogs have preferred chew toys? Not particularly. Well, Princess, I think she has one toy in particular that she enjoys. Mazzy doesn't do chew toys. Terran, actually, he likes those like really tightly tied ropes, and Harry is not particularly into chew toys either. She's like, hey Vox, can we get a social sexual hierarchy field guide for business? I'm categorizing prospects and clients all the time, but would like a manual for it. Maybe a chapter in corporate cancer. That's exactly what we've got, and that's exactly what we will have out before Christmas. Keep crushing. Godspeed. Thank you, and likewise. Aloha from Chapin, South Carolina. I don't think that's how aloha works, but hello to you as well. And we're almost caught up. Oh, Julian Assad says, did a 3-day fast on your suggestion, by the way, and it did wonders. That's good to hear, but I'm not even remotely surprised. It really does seem to work very well. Who would win in a fight, Leviathan or Behemoth? Well, I would assume Leviathan because Behemoth is less capable of surviving in his territory. The story goes on after he found the wall, they got up on it, and stuff happened. Maybe it did. I don't know. I'm coming to Italy soon. Do you have any suggestions for wine brands I can only buy in Italy? Not really, because I don't know what you can only buy in Italy. If you're in Italy and you buy it, you have no idea what they export and what they don't. I mean, the wine that I'm drinking right now, I have seen Ramon Roqueta in other European countries, but I've never seen the Grenache. So, what that means, I do not know. Let's see here. Let's see how we're doing here on the campaign, okay? So we were at 406%, and now we're all the way up to 414%. So the campaign is continuing effectively. That's good. I think I still have that pasted. That's where you go. A Sunderbear wanted to know where to go to fund the Junior Classics, and that is where. I've not been following the Canadian election. Would you be at all interested in email talking about a rod I've seen from the perspective of the U.S. Army Officer School? Yes, definitely. Please write it up, anonymize it, make sure it's not identifiable, and perhaps we will put it on the blog. PFO Dynamite, have you ever followed boxing, and do you have a favorite fighter of all time? I wouldn't say that I followed it actively, but when I was young, boxing was more central to mainstream culture. It's Muhammad Ali, he floats like a butterfly and stings like a bee. I can still remember the song. It was a big deal. Ali Spinks, Larry Holmes, who was the most boring boxing champion of all time. I probably followed it most when Tyson was a thing, just because Tyson was this force of nature. And, probably my favorite fighter was Evander Holyfield. It was a lot of fun seeing, Evander going in up against Tyson and people being just convinced that Tyson was going to literally kill him. And, it was good. It was good. I like Sugar Ray Leonard too. He was great. Can we still expect a Sea of Skulls by the end of the year? I wouldn't hold your breath. I mean, it's still possible, but it's more likely around March timeframe. There's just so much going on. Can we please get the Barcelona wine stream back up on unauthorized? Yeah, we'll do it. We're getting there. Like I said, there's been an awful lot of stuff going on. So, yeah. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in tonight. To be honest, I was mostly hoping to see if I could get this working because of the difficulties that we've been having. So, and it looks like, do we actually start spiraling here? No, it still didn't drop frames. Okay, that's cool. So, I got a couple questions. Can we buy the leather classics at a later date? I can only afford the digital versions for now. Possibly, I would even say probably. Apologies for wine stream. That was rude one day. Apology accepted, no problem. So, anyhow, that's all for tonight. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. And look forward to seeing you soon, probably even tomorrow night. So have a good evening. This is the Darkstream. I'm Vox Day.